Okay, welcome back to the rest of our lesson 6, part 2. Here we go. When you are adding and subtracting with decimals, there's a very important rule you have to remember. Your decimal points have to line up, meaning they have to be right above each other. So in this problem, I have 6.231, 6 and 231 thousandths, plus 0.044, 44 thousandths. To add these together, I need to make sure that my decimal points are right above each other. And then I fill in the rest of the number. And I add it. Just like I would any other problem. 1 plus 4 is 5, 3 plus 4 is 7, 2 plus 0 is 2. Put my decimal point. 6 plus nothing, so I bring down my 6. Now for subtraction, 6.231 minus 0.04. That's another way of saying decimals, by the way. It's a little faster when we're doing our math exercises. So I'm going to fill in that I have a 0 and a 4. And I'm going to be subtracting. Now there's nothing over here, but there is a 1 here on top, but there's no more decimals. So all I do is add a 0 to the back. So I have 3 decimal places on the bottom and 3 decimal places on the top. It's perfectly acceptable to add a 0 to the back of a decimal number. Only to a decimal, not to a regular number. I could not add a 0 to the back of this number without changing the value, because then it would become 6,150, and that's not the same number. But I can to a decimal, because it doesn't change the number. It's still 4 hundredths, whether I have that 0 on the end or I don't. Well, then I would subtract. 1 minus 0 is 0. Borrow. 13 minus 4 is 9. 1 minus 0 is 1. So you may say 1 minus 0 is 0. I meant 1 minus 0 is 1 earlier. 6 minus nada is 6. And that's your answer. With multiplication, it's a little bit different. You don't have to line them up by decimal points. Now I know you can't really see the decimal points in that video, so I'm going to circle them in red a little bit. So there's your decimal points. For this one, you just stack it like normal. So I have 412 times 63.2. Get rid of this one here to the side so it's not confusing. You multiply like normal. 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times 4 is 8, placeholder 0, 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 4 is 12, 2 placeholder zeros, 6 times 2 is 12, carry your 1, 6 times 1 is 6, plus 1 is 7, 6 times 4 is 24, add that together. Okay, add 4 plus your zeros to be 4, 2 plus 6 plus 0 is 8, 8 plus 3 is 11, plus 2 is 13, carry your 1, 1 plus 2 is 3, plus 7 is 10, carry your 1, 1 plus 1 is 2, plus 4 is 6, and bring down your 2. Now here I have 3 decimal places, so I move my decimal point in 3. That's what you do with multiplication. You count your decimal places. I have 1, 2 here in the top, because I have 2 numbers after my decimal point, and I have 1 here in the bottom, because I have 1 number after my decimal point. So altogether, oops, move this just a little bit. So altogether, I have 3 decimal places. So I move my decimal 3 spots, and there you have it. So that's multiplying and adding and subtracting with decimals. Pause your video now to do your practice. All right, letter A. You should have written 5, 0, 0, 0, 0.0742. You start by writing your 742, then you need to figure out how many decimal places that should be. You need 4 decimal places to be in the 10 thousandths. So, where did the eraser go? Oh, I lost my eraser. Here it is. Okay. So, make sure you're writing this correctly. You wrote down, start with your decimal, okay? So you have 5,000 and 742 10 thousandths. You know that behind your decimal you have 742. This needs to be the 10 thousandths. So 10 thousandths, thousandths, hundredths, tenths, decimal point. Now write your regular number of 5,000. Okay? 642 and 75 thousandths. So you could start by writing 642 decimal point. Now you know you need your decimal, 75 thousandths. Well, this is tenths, hundredths, thousandths, okay? Now I fill in 75 because I know that my last digit has to be here on the last spot. And so what's left is a 0. This is the way that I would recommend doing it. Write your number, your decimal point, then count how many places you have to have in order to end in the right decimal place. Then fill in your number, and then the rest zeros. All right, letter C, you needed to use words, so you should have said 7,000 and 65 thousandths, because your 5 is in the thousandths place. Letter D should be 42 and 617 millionths. Letter E, when you subtracted, you should have gotten 43.8742. And letter F, you should have gotten 0.33408, because you needed 5 decimal points because you had 5 decimal places. In your first number, 522, you had 2 decimal places, and in 0.064, you had 3. So together, 5 decimal places for you to count. All right, that is the end of lesson 6. I hope you guys have a great day. See you in the next lesson. Bye.